Okay, back again. So yeah, it's snowing. I know, pretty cool. But so it's been about a year and a half since I moved away from Grass Valley. I moved down to Sacramento for a job while I was still going through the divorce stuff with the house, and it's kind of neat to be back. I mean, I was back here for Christmas, but I was just having flashbacks last night of living here and working that crazy warehouse job. Hey Jamie, hey Aaron, Booklegger crew, what's up? Um, yeah, man, I don't know. So I moved down to Hollywood in August 31st to pursue acting and comedy, and my backup plan was to be a certified nurse assistant. That's what I was doing, living with my ex for 5 months. I wasn't ready to like move down to LA without a plan. As a society, we're so taught to live in fear, and you got to get a job, and you got to get an education, and you can't just pursue your dreams without a backup plan. What, are you crazy? So I got my CNA license, spent $1,000 in 2 months of my life doing that. And the first month I was down there, I was looking for jobs as a minimum wage caregiver because I hadn't even passed the CNA test yet, so I didn't have my license yet. So, I've got a bachelor's degree, but I couldn't get a job even as a minimum wage caregiver with the elderly. So, um, then I got a day of background work on this movie that my landlord was working on called Chicago 8 with Orlando Bloom and the boss, Orlando Bloom, Orlando Jones, and and the boss from Office Space. And I'm a courtroom spectator, so I met this girl on that set who told me who I could sign up with to like get into the business more, and I signed up with a casting company that does the background casting for like Grey's Anatomy and Private Practice and Medium, and then I got a colleague service and was working on Grey's Anatomy and some other shows like that and stuff, and things were going pretty good. I was like, oh, maybe I can make a living doing this, and I also wanted to start my own business of doing like spiritual counseling and life coaching and helping people on their spiritual journeys. And I made flyers and put them all up all over town. I only got a few responses and kind of gave up on that for the time being. But yeah, it's an interesting journey for me, overcoming my my fears, because part of this spiritual awakening that I've had, realizing that we're socialized to live in fear, to be kept under control. We were possibly created as a slave race by the alien reptile draconians, and that's a whole other story. And we act like slaves. We're conditioned that way. It's just like the Matrix. Everyone's plugged into the Matrix. They're not awake to the reality of, I mean, people who voted for Obama thinking they're going to see great change. It doesn't matter, Democrat or Republican, who gets elected. They all answer to the same money powers who run the world through the military-industrial complex. And, right now there are free energy technologies that we could be using, where we don't need to be burning 1 ounce of coal or 1 drop of oil. But of course the energy companies and the oil companies aren't going to let that happen. So here we are continuing to pollute the environment and spend $3 plus a gallon for gas. Um, but I digress. Uh, it's an interesting journey for me, like overcoming my personal fears and my personal like social anxiety, and because I know I have an important mission here to do on Earth, and to talk to people and help them on their journeys, and to say, okay, got some good news for you and some bad news. The good news is you're a divine being and you're eternal and you are God. You don't need any kind of intermediary between you and God. No church, no priest, no master, no guru. You are God. You just have to realize your own potential. That's what Jesus' true message was. When he said, I am the truth, the way, the light, none shall know God but through me, what he meant is, none shall know God but by doing as I do. Live by my example. It's not about like just being lazy and like, oh, everything's okay because Jesus is gonna save me and I don't have to do any work for myself. Bullshit. You have to do the work yourself to improve yourself and realize your own divinity. And anyone who's stupid enough to think that Jesus or God doesn't love people of other religions and that they're not getting into heaven because they don't accept Jesus, that's just retarded. I mean, if Jesus were here right now, he'd tell you you are wrong. Actually, I am Jesus, and I'm telling you you're wrong. And there's many of us who have awakened to this fact that the second coming of Christ is not going to manifest in one man looking like with a long hair and a beard coming down from the sky and bringing people up on a cloud. It's thousands of us out there who have awakened to our own divinity and the divinity of all mankind, and the truth and the lies that have been perpetrated, and the task that we have ahead of us to raise the vibrations of this planet and to let light shine where there's been darkness. So it is interesting because I do have a social anxiety disorder, and I have to now I know I have to like go out and I have to like make this documentary and get this information out there, and you know, but it's hard for me because I do have this fear ingrained in me, and so it's an interesting journey, and I invite you all along for the ride. Namaste. Blessings.